Hello and welcome to the match reaction for Manchester United taking on Tottenham. We've just beaten Tottenham 1-0 the first game of the season, and it wasn't the best game to start the season really. It was a bit of a drab game, to be honest, but we've nicked it 1-0 from an own goal. Joey, are you pleased with how things went? I mean, a win's a win, and these first games of the season can be a bit tricky. I mean, we've started with pretty much the same team as we played on the pre-season tour, apart from we've started with a different goalkeeper, who I thought it was going to be Johnston in goal, but he started with Romero, which I was a bit surprised with. But overall, a win's a win, and we move on, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I guess there's no real surprises in the starting 11. We knew what we were going to get. I saw a tweet with a quote from Ben Hall, I guess maybe in his pre-match little interview, where he said he went with the experience with Romero. And you know, for everything it's worth, you know, you're making your debut for United with no preseason. I've only been with the team a week or two, so I thought he handled it pretty well. His distribution was, you know, shaky, and you can tell at halftime something was said because he just started hitting it long instead of, you know, when he's unsure he just hit it long. But 3 points is the most important thing. It was a really bad first half. Obviously, we all want to be entertained. You know, as a club, Manchester United have entertained over the years along with winning. But it's the first game of the year. Fitness levels aren't at maximum. So, yeah, I'm very happy with the win because I thought that Spurs – I thought the fatigue would get to them, and was I wrong? You know, hopefully that's not a preview of the season where I'm not too right because then nobody will watch me. But yeah, Spurs were fantastic in the first opening 15 to 20 minutes. They were pressing the ball very well, winning it back high up the pitch. They were passing the ball around, and Christian Eriksen had an early chance, which I thought a player of his quality should have converted. So overall, you know, if you want to nitpick, you know, it's just one game, but if it becomes a habit, then obviously there'll be concerns.
Yeah, definitely. But I think these opening games of the season, what a lot of people say every season is that it's only about the points that you get on the board and building up your fitness. Because we saw towards the end that Juan Mata there had a bit of cramp, which you usually don't see in a full 90 minutes when the season's sort of towards the middle of the season. So it's great to see that we've nicked this game. I mean, I don't know who your standout players were because really we scored from a bad pass from Tottenham, so it was a mistake from them for us to get the goal. I mean, Rooney would have obviously scored had Walker not put it in his own net, but we didn't really play brilliant going forward, did we? I don't know who you think was our standout men today.
Obviously, I think it was at the back. I think it's overwhelmingly Darmian. I mean, he was fantastic. I spoke about him so many times before we even signed him, before anybody knew who he was. Me and Pasha were talking about him. And even when we signed him, we were so happy. You saw flashes of it in preseason. The guy just gets it right, his positioning. I mean, he's Italian. Us Italians, we know how to defend. We know what positions to be in. He's no nonsense, you know. He's also good on the ball, and he had some pretty decent forward runs where, you know, he got in positions to cross the ball. A few times the crowd asked him to shoot. I thought Chris Smalling was excellent, put in some tackles. He's always good in the air. If we could find a partner for Chris Smalling that was just as good, but you want somebody better, obviously world class, we'd have a pretty damn good defense because I think our fullbacks are fantastic. Luke Shaw, for me, was still trying to find a little bit of fitness. He didn't get forward as much as I would have liked, but I will say with Daley Blind, he's a footballer. You know, you heard the commentator say it. He's always going to be in the right positions. He's very good on the ball. It's just the size, and you can't teach size. So it's unfortunate for him that he's not a little bit bigger because I think he could be a quality center back. But we kept a clean sheet. Romero had some pretty good saves towards the end. Schneiderlin, he made a few mistakes early, but I thought he grew into the game. And I was just telling Pasha, we were just talking on the phone, I'm happy that he took Carrick off instead of Schneiderlin because Schneiderlin has the legs to go the 90, and he'll do the extra running and the hard work in the midfield. So the player like Schweinsteiger can you know, do his thing, defend and get attacks going and dictate the tempo. But yeah, Darmian stand out. It's unfortunate he got a cramp because I will say once Valencia got on, we almost conceded a few times from his bad positioning. There's a few times where I felt he was too close to Chris Smalling and that a player would sneak in behind him. And I thought we were lucky yet more than once that we didn't concede because, like I said, Valencia in bad positions, and he's not a defender. It's a shame because I think if Darmian had not gotten cramps, you could have took Juan Mata off and put Valencia and then have a really defensive-sided wing going through the rest of the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I was going to say that point. I think Valencia should be playing out on the wing, as opposed to the backup right back, but it's the way it goes. I do have to agree, Darmian was fantastic again today, but I thought probably for me, man of the match was probably, I would say Smalling. I thought Smalling was fantastic, made a couple of really decent challenges in the second half, and didn't give Harry Kane a sniff in this game, did we? I mean, he was ever so poor and quiet today, again as he was against Manchester United last year. So that was good to see. But I think overall, I'm really delighted that we got that clean sheet because last season we did let still quite a few goals in, and obviously last season it was the fact that De Gea was having to make save after save that was the problem, even when he did keep it down. But overall, absolutely delighted with the win there. I mean, what were your thoughts on some of the other players? Memphis Depay, he played, I think it's around 65 minutes, wasn't it, or something? I forget what time he come off, or 70 minutes. But he did a decent shift in there for his first Premier League game. Hopefully we'll see some more of him over the coming season. But we didn't really attack enough, probably, and have enough clear-cut chances against Vaughan today. But hopefully that will come getting into the next few games, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, we only had one shot on target, which is unfortunate. I think that you still got players coming in. With Pedro coming in, he'll add a new element. And Memphis, for his debut, I said this on Straight News. We got a whole, obviously we're going to expect big things from him, but let's take it easy. Let's ease him into the league, ease him into the team. And not, get on him if he doesn't score for the first 5 or 10 games. Like, just ease him in to the team. I will say that when he came off and Herrera came on, I was very impressed with Herrera in the 10 role. I like him there. I thought that he linked up a few times with Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin on the edge of the area. And there was a sequence where I just said too many fucking passes on Twitter because they're just fucking sitting there and they're passing it back and forth. And nobody had a pop at goal. And I thought that, there was a few times that they had an opening where they could have, even if, the keeper saves it, you might get a chance at a rebound or something like that. So the whole little pass it around the entire area, every player touched it. It went, Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin, Herrera, Rooney, Mata, and Young, I think all touched the ball during the sequence I'm talking about. Now, one of them had a shot when I thought Ashley Young could have had a shot. Speaking of Ashley Young, I thought he was good, not great. I think him and Kyle Walker were going at it, and I enjoyed that. I like that the ref let them play. I can't stand how, both of them, after a little bit of, tussling, would just look at the ref and all game he's not made the call. He's letting you play, so stop fucking crying about it and play. So, I don't think you're going to get it done for 38 games with Ashley Young in there. I think he's a quality squad player. He showed that last year. But like you said, I think, with certain players out there for available, De Bruyne, I think he would look really good on the wing for us. Mata had a great game. He passed the ball well. He got forward. I was disappointed that he took the free kick because I wanted to see Memphis take it, the first free kick of the year. But other than that, the defenders were the standout players. Nobody else really stood out for me.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that maybe Herrera could be that player to play in the number 10 role and then put Memphis on the left wing? Because I think he could do a bit better on the wing. A lot of people have been saying that he's getting a bit crowded out, especially in pre-season. Saw a bit in some of them games where he's a bit crowded out in at number 10, and he might get more chance on the wing to get the ball down there and play a bit. I mean, obviously we've got to try and work out a way to get Herrera in the team because obviously he's a quality player, and it'd be a shame to see him sit on the bench, wouldn't it, for quite a few games. But I've got to worry that he might be.
I think that at one point, when it was early in the game and to the first half, we had almost a flat 4-4-1-1 or 4-4-2 at times because Memphis was playing next to Rooney. And I just think that we got outmanned in midfield at certain times where they kind of overwhelmed us. We had Carrick and Schneiderlin as the only two in midfield. And I think that if you bring Herrera in and you shift Memphis out wide, you could put him on the left, and Pedro will be coming in. You could put Pedro on the right, and you could have two proper wingers supporting Wayne Rooney up top. And then you would have a three-man midfield with Schneiderlin, Carrick, and Herrera, and those three could play 1-2s, link around. Last year when our best games came, with the 4-3-3, kind of had a triangle that was, like with the base, or the tip would be pointing towards the back, and Carrick was that one-man pivot. We created triangles all over the field, and that was really how we worked the ball around the defenders. If we had a triangle with the left back, Carrick, and then it would be Ashley Young, that was Blinn, Carrick, and Young, they were able to pass the ball and move it up the pitch, and then we just created all these triangles all over, and we kept possession, we kept it moving, it was fluid. I think that's another thing I want to see going forward. I want to see fluidity. I want to see 1-2 passing. I want to see runs made off the ball. I want to see us move the ball quick because I think the ball wasn't moved quick enough at times. I haven't seen Van Gaal's post-match interview, but I really am looking forward to see that. Yeah. So, but you asked the question, can Herrera get it done in the 10 role? Absolutely. He's creative enough. He can score goals. We saw that. He had 8 last year, I think, in the Premier League. I think he's a little more, suited for that than Memphis is. I think Memphis is more of a striker than a number 10.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to see how he goes with that because he might change it up. He seems to keep things for quite a while before he does change them up. So we'll have to see in the coming weeks. But as you said, our defence looked quite solid today, and Romero was in goal today. But do you think he's going to be long term? Because obviously it's a bit of a shock. Most people thought that De Gea would be in goal for this game, but obviously he was in the stand alongside Victor Valdez and Lindegaard, 3 other goalkeepers that could have even made the subs bench today, or Valdez could have even been starting if he hadn't fallen out with Louis van Gaal. Do you think now that David Gea will definitely leave the club, and Valdez as well maybe leaving, because it's a bit of a tricky scenario that we've got, because I heard Louis van Gaal say on MUTV yesterday, probably 2 more players, and he hinted that one would be a goalkeeper, so I think at least one of them goalkeepers will go, wouldn't they?
I really hope it's not just 2 players because obviously it'll be Pedro and a goalkeeper. I think it depends on the goalkeeper he brings. If he brings in a Lloris, I think Lloris gets the starting spot. But I think if he brings in somebody, not quite that level, that Romero and him and Johnson will battle it out all year for the number 1 spot. And I don't want to see that because I remember when we won the 20th title, it was either Lindegaard or De Gea. That's when De Gea really cemented his spot, and there was always uncertainty going into the games at the beginning of the year. And eventually, the number 1 came out. But I think you need to bring in a goalkeeper because I don't think Lindegaard's going to be staying. I think we'll see though. Yeah, I mean. I want him. I've been saying go put in a bid for Hugo Lloris because I think he's one of the better keepers in the league, definitely top 3 or 4. So, and he knows the Premier League. He wants to play in the Champions League. I'd go out and get him.
Yeah, well, I've just been seeing reports that probably Real Madrid are going to launch I think it's £25 million bid for David De Gea. So hopefully it looks almost certain that he's going to leave. Hopefully that can get done.
Sergio Ramos part of that because he's stayed back with a injury from their trip to wherever they went. So
right. I'm not sure. I just saw that they said they were going to launch a £25 million bid, but hopefully we can know more soon. But it does look like De Gea will go. I mean, Louis van Gaal has hinted that the situation could be resolved by the end of the month. So whether he stays or goes, he won't play until September. So I think it's the best solution probably just to get rid of him. But as you said, Hugo Lloris would be the number one. But the worrying thing is that we're probably going to have to pay around 35 to 40 million for him, which will be crazy considering that we're going to probably let De Gea go for 25 million maximum, and he's a better goalkeeper and younger, isn't he? So it's a bit of a shame that we're doing another bit of bad transfer business in terms of getting recruiting money in from the players that we're selling.
Well, I think we knew, like, I understand the hard stance, but now if you're going to weaken it, why now? Why didn't you just do that in the fucking beginning? Did you want to prove a point? Well, in the end, the Real Madrid are getting their man. So you should have just sold him in fucking July and moved on and got a keeper in that could have a full preseason. So I don't like this move by Woodward. I think if you're going to, if you were going to sell him now, why didn't you do it last month? And they need to get in a center back. I'm sorry, but there's certain positions that need upgrading. I just really, really hope that Pedro and the goalkeeper aren't the last little bits of fucking business, because I think if you really want to challenge for the league, we could look. There's a difference between challenging for it, being there, and actually winning it, And I don't think we can win the league with the current team. You're not going to win the league with Chris Smalling and Daley Blind as your center backs.
No, I definitely agree there. I mean, Chris Smalling's come on leaps and bounds in the last year, but I think you really need a settled back four that are going to be relied on week in, week out, and obviously the goalkeeper. But as you said there, the goalkeeping situation, if we're going to sell him now, we should have sold him weeks ago, because, I mean, he says he's not in the right frame of mind to play, but he must have seen him in training and known this for the last 3 or 4 weeks, or however long he's been back in pre-season. I mean, it can't be a new thing. So I'm surprised he even gave him any game time on tour, really, to be honest. I just think we should have just got rid of him early on, because now we've got the scenario of we've got. I mean, if he doesn't want to play for Manchester United, we can't play him anyway. I mean, if he's just going to play like he did against PSG, I mean, obviously that could have just been a bad game, but I just think it's stupid. We should have just let him go and just accepted a bit less, because at the end of the day, we don't need the money. And if he's not going to play, I mean, if he's going to see out his contract and perform professionally, then that's different. But I don't know if you've got any more thoughts you want to add, because I think we probably will just bring in them 2 signings now. I'd be a bit surprised if we do bring in any more, unless obviously you say as the Ramos deal is linked to the De Gea deal, then I could see us bringing in 3. But I think probably I don't see us bringing in a centre forward, an actual out-and-out striker now. I mean, there was talk of Harry Kane, but Harry Kane didn't exactly perform very well today, and in the under-21 Euros, he was pretty poor as well. So
yeah.
I don't know if you've got any
first game of the year, though. I thought Harry Kane's movement was okay. They should have been. I think Harry Kane's performance is more about the team than the individual. I don't think they supplied him enough. I don't think they looked for him enough. Christian Eriksen should have scored in the first 5 or 10 minutes. I think Harry Kane, you either spend the money this summer or you spend more next summer if he has a good season. I think he's the real deal. I didn't at first, but I'm starting to come on to it. But they need to bring in players. I think I speak for a lot of fans when I say they're disappointed. They're happy with, how the window has gone with the players we brought in, the players we've gone out. Di Maria, people are a little disappointed about that, but I think David De Gea is the big one. And not bringing in somebody, they talk about, money spent, but with what's his name, David De Gea, if they spend £25 million, we're at we're almost breaking even. That we haven't spent any money, and net spend. Look, go out and get the quality players. I know it's hard. I know they're not available. I know when you're going in for them, I hear Ed Woodward say that they make it really hard for us. But that's what happens when you shoot your mouth off in an interview saying that, we have all this money to spend. I want to see, I don't, just challenge him for the league this year. For me, I'm starting to get – I don't want to be one of those fans that's impatient or anything like that. And Watford is up 1-0 on Everton. I think that's funny. But we need to be going for the best players available. And honestly, you have Griezmann as wingers that you could go out and buy and hit their release clause or bid for. You have Griezmann, De Bruyne, and Pedro. I'm not sure. Pedro might be the best positional fit, but I think if you're looking for a winger to replace Di Maria, shouldn't we be also looking for an upgrade on Ashley Young? Can't you go out and buy De Bruyne and get Pedro? If you want to play Memphis as the number 10, because I think we might struggle to score some goals this year. We don't have that clinical guy. Rooney did okay today, but he's trying to get Memphis to be a partner with him, and Memphis is a brand new player to this league, a very young, talented player. I think that we should have tried to get Cavani, I guess, off of PSG, maybe somebody. It's the first game of the year. Don't get me wrong. I'm completely happy with 3 points. I like the team. I think it needs to be upgraded in certain areas, and then we can win some silverware. We were talking on our video. It's there. For any of the teams other than Chelsea in the top 4 to go out and get. Why can't we be the team that does it? We got the money. We got Champions League football. We got the playoff against Club Brugge. But why aren't we going out and just let's fucking do it? Is that down to the manager? And one thing I will say is I love Louis van Gaal. I love him. I think he's a great manager. But he will be under pressure this season. And with managers like Pep Guardiola going to be available in the summer, Carlo Ancelotti, Jurgen Klopp, he's going to be under pressure. And the fans will, know that those managers are available. They're going to want some attractive football this year. They're going to want, they're going to want to see what they saw for those 6 weeks in the spring last year, or this year actually.
Yeah, definitely. We've got to start playing some better football. I mean, as you said, you're worried a bit about scoring some goals this year. I didn't think Wayne Rooney was at his best today. He could have done better. I mean, he could have had himself a goal there if he'd just been able to nick it in ahead of Walker. Instead, he put it obviously in his own net. So hopefully he can get some more goals because he's going to be centre forward hopefully for the whole remaining of the summer. But
I just want
to.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to leave this. I just saw a quote, and it says it's from Louis van Gaal. And it says, "quote We always have to bid big money to get players. So why can't they give us the big money for our star players?" I think that's a very interesting quote from him. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's sort of referring to the fact that we've let Raphael go for about 2 million, which I think that's laughable, really. And we've let Van Persie go for almost peanuts, considering how well he's done in the past and his experience. So, but I don't know. It's the hair one. It seems that Manchester United will accept around sort of 25, maybe 30 million. But it's whether Real Madrid are going to pay the money.
Pounds is okay, but euros is not. If you're going to pay 25 million pounds, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with 25 million euros.
No, definitely not, because the euro is works out quite a bit less. So we certainly don't want to make a loss on him, even though he's only got 1 year left on his contract. But hopefully we can recruit some money there, because we've obviously as well lost some money on Angel Di Maria, and he hasn't dropped his value. Shouldn't have dropped that much because he's still a quality player. So, but we'll have to see what happens there. Hopefully we can get another couple of players.
And it's not just Di Maria's value dropping. Look at the club that's buying him and the money they spent on David Luiz. You know what I mean? That's fucking joke. When it comes to us selling players, teams are like not giving us enough. I'd rather watch them rot in the reserves or on the bench than take peanuts for them.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. But if De Gea doesn't want to play for us and he's just going to, of course, be a bad apple in the squad, I think it's best to probably recruit some money, because next year obviously we won't get anything for him. So, but we'll have to see there. I don't know if you've got any more thoughts you want to add on the game before we finish up, or remind everyone where to find you on Twitter for some more chats about anything football or Manchester United.
Yeah, it's at Joey Tabor, and I'll be on Shreddy News TV every Wednesday with Dale and the guys. We have a nice little panel. We're going to be doing kind of the Champions League previews and discussing that. So we're going to be the cup competition guys on Wednesday, I think. Just tweet me. I know it's the first game. Don't get me wrong with, I said I said some shit today that was, kind of sounding impatient and spoiled, but it's just how I feel, And I'm don't get me wrong, I love the club, I love the manager, I love the players we have. I'm very happy we got 3 points, but I want to win the league sooner than later. And we got kind of lucky because it was an own goal today, but I'm happy with the new signings. I finally got my number on the back, got my Schneiderlin shirt. If you haven't, bought the shirt and you're just kind of thinking about it, it looks so much better in person. There's kind of little details in the shirt that you don't really get to see on TV or online. So, yeah, other than that, tweet me, and we'll be doing a preview soon for the Villa game. Come on United.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and watching. There's quite a lot more viewers than normal. So please do hit the like button as well. Make sure to subscribe because we will be back sometime in the week because the next game is on Friday night. I think it's against Aston Villa. So we'll preview that and probably review the game after the game. So thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts on the game in the comments section below. Also the thoughts on David De Gea and any other transfer news that's going around. And thanks for watching. We will talk to you again in the week.
Come on, United!